Hey there, friend, it's Mark from Men Who Bullet, and I'm back to the Bullet Journal. We have concluded our 2-week adventure inside of the Discbound Planner, and I'll tell you, not my most favorite thing in the entire world. It's definitely not the brand itself. I think there's a lot of flexibility in Discbound. I think it more had to do in the way that I set up my weeks. So this week, as you saw in last week's Plan With Me, I went into Zinnia and printed out an overview, but I really didn't use it as much. I set it up, but the thing that I've really noticed about this as I've gone through and I've used this Discbound, this daily Discbound, is that I'm not a daily planner. That's just, I think there's definitely some value in this. I use some of the pages more than others, obviously, when things weren't going on there. I completely stopped using the scheduler. I really like the idea of it, but it also didn't make sense to me to take my Outlook calendar and to write it down when I sit in front of my computer all day long. It's just how I work. It's what I do at work. So I'm not running around an office anymore without my computer where I would need to write down all of my agenda items here. It's just all there. So I really am not using that as much. I do like to know if there's some high level meetings happening inside of a day. And I usually do something instead of my bullet journal. We're going to actually do that today when we set ours up. But I think just overall is what I really noticed is that I use a lot of notes. That's just my deal. It's how I run. I have this, because I didn't know where to put some of this information. I did have information on like an extra memo pad that I just used the hole puncher and popped it in here. I just use the note sections. It's just how I roll. So what we're going to do today is set up the bullet journal because this experiment is done. Another thing that I'm going to go into more detail inside of my full review video for the planner is all of the notes from last week I took out, right? Because I was going to migrate them to the back of my notebook. They never made it into the back of the planner. So a good example is this week I had to call the help desk at work because I was looking into something. And I didn't have the paper that I needed because I took it out of my planner, which, my own fault. That has nothing to do with the planner itself. I just didn't put it back in there. So it was a thing. So I was like, I need to get back to my bullet journal because everything would be in here and I'd have a collection page and I would put it in my index and it would just work out nicer. So we're going to actually set up 2 pages today. The first one I'm going to set up is going to be a brain dump. I need to take 2 weeks worth of information and notes, and I need to migrate them into my bullet journal. It's kind of the opposite of what I said. Well, I'm glad I didn't do it because I really didn't love the planner as much as maybe I thought I was when I was excited up front, but taking all that information and moving it there. Because it's only 2 weeks worth of information that I use inside of this planner, it'll be easy for me to kind of take some of this and move it over into the collection pages that I already have set up, especially for some of the projects. That was one thing I was like, do I create full project pages? Do I just keep the notes in the weekly? It is what it is. So we're going to set up a brain dump page here, just really fast, nothing too crazy from a standpoint of like, any type of grids or anything. Essentially, I'm just going to create an outline around this page. We're actually going to use some of my handmade stamps that I've made to do this. So I just have like a chat bubble. I have a paper clip, a light bulb, and then my brain. That's going to go here at the top. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of put some of these just around, just for a little visual interest. Nothing too nuts. And then I'll just draw the line around here. I want to make sure I give myself enough space for my notes because there's going to be a lot of them. So I'll have kind of all of this space inside of here to write and have some fun. Then what we're going to do is we're going to set up our weekly. So this is a week back inside of our bullet journal. So what I'm going to do for this, I've been thinking about it and I sketched out like a real quick outline last night. We were playing some Jackbox games with some friends. And while we were going through, I was like, I think I'm going to go this way. So what I'm going to do for this week is kind of mix a little bit of like what I loved about the planner and then take out all the stuff I didn't, which essentially is no daily views, no daily pages. But I do want a nice little like way to take a look at the week. So we're going to do a 2-page spread as I do usually. Over here on the left-hand side, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break this part out into 5 days for each day during the week. So we'll have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and a Friday. And then what I'm going to do is I'm splitting up the pages into thirds. So technically this is into thirds, and I'll go over the grids in just a second for you in case you want to try this for yourself. But we'll set this up in a way that it'll just be Monday through Friday. And then I was in Zinnia a few days ago, just playing around, and I found these really cool patterns in these circles here at the top. Now, I set this up as a weekly overview idea. I'm not going to use that, but I really love the way that these look. So what I'm going to do is in these spaces up here, I'm just going to create some fun visuals to add as like a decoration essentially for the page. To make it really easy for myself, I have a circle stencil, but you could certainly use any type of item to create your circle. Use the bottom of a cap if you want to. And then we're going to do that in pencil. And then when I decided I was going to break out some of my new acrylographs, I'm going to use the Amanda Rach Lee collection that I got a bit ago, and we're going to bust this baby open, and we're going to have some fun with some of the colors that are in here. But she had some really cool colors inside of here that I really liked: vintage denim, mellow tangerine, and a few other ones that were really nice. And so we're going to use these to create some patterns at the top of our page up here. And then all the rest of this is just going to be space for notes. It's how I work, it's what I love, and it's what's going to work for me this week. So let's go ahead and first start with setting up that brain dump page real quick. Nothing overly crazy here. Really, all I'm going to do is just got to find the center of my page, and then I am going to just drop in a few of those stamps, and then we'll just go around the page with our ruler and just create a bit of an outline for it, just to make it a little bit more of a feature page. So if I go into the back of my grid space here, and actually I can fill this out at the same time. What I'm going to do, well, actually, no, that's for the other page. I just need to find the center of the page, which is 16 squares in. All right, so the first is going to be the brain stamp. So this is one that I made myself. I'm super proud of it. I need to get back to some stamp making. It's been a little bit since I've made a stamp. All right, I'll put that here at the top. And then we just have some of these other fun ones that I've made. This is just like a chat bubble one. We're just going to put this down here in the corner. This is a fun one. I actually use this as an example in one of my YouTube videos. So if you're ever interested in learning how to make your own stamps and carving them, I have a video on my playlist and on my page around how to make your own rubber stamps. And that's the example that we used for it. I decided that I'm just going to put the little fun things at the bottom here because I really want to make sure I have the space for the notes. I have a lot of stuff that I need to migrate over from that disc planner. So we're just going to have some fun with these here at the bottom. We have our one here at the top. And then now I'm just going to be careful, and I'm just going to outline this here. There we go. My Biggie Smalls font. All right. I'll probably maybe add a little bit of color, drop shadows or something to it, but maybe not. Maybe really it's just a functional page that looks kind of cool. So that's the brain dump page for the week. Not to be disrespectful to the planner, but I'm gonna put this little extra page just in case that ink is not dry just yet, and give it just a second and blot it a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and start with the overall week here. Yep, we're good. All right, so I said that I was going to go over the spacing for this, and I am going to do that. I'm going to be using the grid spacing that I have here in the back for the B5 size notebook. The way that I set this up is I have a 3-column layout, essentially. And what I did for it is I used this 3-column here. So it's 10 spaces with one in between, 10, 1, 10, 1. Now, I did connect these over here on my other one. So this is going to be 10 and then 10, and then this ends up being 12 over on this side here. So as you go through, and then on the other side of my page, I think I actually did follow the exact grid. I did. So I have the other 3 column grid here, which has them all touching. I only want them touching so that the lines go straight down the page versus having that gap. So on this side, it's 1 space and then 10, 10, 10, and then there's 1 over on the right-hand side. So we mix it up just a little bit. So I like grids. You don't have to follow them exactly to make it work. So we have 12 over on the left-hand side, and then these all connect. 10, this connects to here, and 10. That equals what you need to there. And then this one just offsets it a little bit, 1 on each side. You could do 2, or if you wanted to, you could do 2 over on this side, and it's going to shift those numbers over. But whatever you need to do, you can make it happen. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm actually just going to just kind of pen everything in. So I'm just going to be using the medium size Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Fine Liner in black. And I'm just going to go ahead and just go over these lines real quick. And I just realized as I was doing this that I never talked about what the row spacing is here for the left-hand side. So just to show you real quick, I do already have one set up here for 5 rows going down. So all I'm going to do here is it's going to be 9 squares. Instead of leaving 1 at the top, I'm going to leave 1 at the bottom instead. So these are all connected, and there's going to be 9 squares in between each here. And you'll see I just have 1 left over down here at the bottom. Now I did also just cap off the top here so I can write the day of the week and the date. I like to have that weekly overview, and then I have 8 spaces inside of here, and I can just leave them open if I want to, or I was maybe even thinking about doing kind of like a mini calendar for any kind of big events that are coming up throughout the week. So not using the full page scheduler like was on, that was inside of here with like the full breakdown for half hours, but maybe just do like a 9 a.m. to 4, because most of the meetings I have are anywhere between 30 minutes or an hour long. And especially at the end of the day, not that big of a deal. I don't have anything usually that goes past 5 o'clock, at least when it comes to meetings. So we'll keep that over there. Now what I'm going to do for these sections here is I'm just going to draw a nice big long straight line all the way down the page. Now I'm only going to separate just the sides over here. I do have a line here that I could draw down just to make these a little bit more visually symmetrical, since it should be 10 and 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a light pencil and I'm going to line this up in the center. All right, so we have all of our circles lightly drawn in here with a pencil. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up those acrylographs, and I'm just going to kind of follow along with some of the patterns we have here. So we have some curly lines, dots, we have some multicolors. I don't know that I'm going to do this one, because now I like take out like a white and do all kinds of stuff, but I do like kind of the more monochromatic ones where I don't have to do a whole lot. So lines, I even like this one here with some like solid colors and little lines. So we're gonna do some fun stuff like this. So let's go ahead and pick out the colors that we're gonna use. So if you're a fan of the queen of bullet journaling and YouTube, then Amanda Rach Lee is your girl. She partnered along with Archer and Olive to create this really fun set. I really actually love the case for this too. It's absolutely reusable. You can use it for whatever you want. All of this comes out if you keep your acrylographs in a different way. Don't forget also, if you ever want to buy anything from Archer and Olive, I am an affiliate, and you can get 10% off. Use Men Who Bullet 10 whenever you purchase your stuff. And they have some really cool stuff that they just released yesterday, actually, the monthly box and some mystery boxes and stuff if you want to. So let's go ahead through. So I said that I wanted to use the Mellow Tangerine. I know I wanted to use the Vintage Denim here. Rust Brown, Stormy Sea Foam, Faded Paper. There is a white. Rice Paper, Lilac, Pink Quartz, Pastel Sun we'll use. Let's go with Rustic Brown. And let's do, it's that Faded Pear is what that one says, Faded Pear. So we'll go ahead and we will use these. Now I haven't used these yet. I don't think I have used these yet. I have not. So if you are new to using acrylographs, acrylographs are a water-based paint pen from Archer and Olive. And I love them. They come in so many different colors. There's the metallic ones. And the way they work is you just got to shake them up, and then I'll show you how to activate it real quick, and then we'll get started with our pattern. So let's go ahead and I actually like to do these all at the same time. Just makes it easier. I know I'm using all these colors. We're just going to shake them up. And you're going to do it for like 2 minutes. So I will be back in just a moment. All right, we are back. All right, so activating these is really easy to do. So all of them have the nibs that are here at the top, and they used to come in two different sizes. There used to be the 0.7, which is this one with a nice fine point, and then there was a 3 millimeter, which had a nice fat tip. And what they did is they actually just now give you the two different tips, because I didn't know this, but the tips were interchangeable inside of these. So they just have the one pen, but then you get the two different nibs that you can easily replace. And all you do is you press down on it until the paint ink, we'll call it, starts to flow down the tip. And then you'll start to see it come off on your paper. And we just want to get to a point like it is right now where we can then draw with it. So it makes it nice and easy. So let's go ahead and have some fun, and we're going to create some different patterns across our page. All right, so we have all of them drawn. So I'm just going to let them go ahead and dry before we erase the pencil mark from around the edges here. So over on the left-hand side, what I'm going to do is just quickly put in the dates and the days of the week over here. I'm going to go back. I've missed this. This is the Monteverde USA Engage Inkball pen. I just did a review of this a week or two ago. It's just an amazing pen. Has actually fountain pen ink inside of it, but it's retractable and it works like a regular like fountain ball or ink ball. Ballpoint pen, I think, is the right name, and it just writes beautifully. And I love that I can use it in my bullet journal, and I can pick different fountain color inks to use. So after I'm done with the black ink, I'm going to try something else in the future. But for right now, let's go ahead and just add Monday through Friday, and then we will start the week off. And then I'm just going to number each day. There's a little bit of a calendar down here on the left-hand side for myself from 9 a.m. to 4, which will count just for like hour long. So if there's a meeting or something important during the day, I'll go ahead and know that I need to do that as well. It's a small little detail. You don't have to add it. You could, of course, just keep this open for overall weekly tasks, but I'm gonna do it for myself. All right, so we are officially back inside the bullet journal, and a great weekly overview. Back to the way that I like to work. Thanks for hanging out for the extended plan with me today as we set up a big old brain dump page for everything that has to make its way back into this bullet journal. I'll just put it all here first, and then I will put it wherever it needs to go. And then we have our entire weekly setup here. We've got our Monday through Friday with like a little mini schedule deal inside of here for meetings and things going on. And while I could use these for a daily, I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep running notes across this entire page. But if you wanted to set this page up differently for yourself, you could certainly have like an overview here, and then each day gets its own column. But I just know for me, not every day can necessarily fit inside of one column, so I let it ride. I appreciate you hanging out. If you liked this video, then you're also going to absolutely love the rest of the Plan With Me series that I have for you right here. You can check those out, as I've been doing them almost every single week, setting up my bullet journal and getting some new ideas. I'll talk to you later on. See ya.